Hey, Timbo Hodgson is muttering words again. Yay, that's good. We shouldn't let this guy open his mouth. But let me ask you a simple question. If Canada is such an energy superpower as we claim to be, if we have the resources, the talent, the land, the opportunity, then why, in the middle of a global energy crunch, are we proudly announcing that we're going to help the United States win the AI race? Not Canada, not our own economy. No, not our future. Theirs. We're going to help theirs, which is fine. We always want to help our American friends and counterparts, but why wouldn't we include ourselves in this? But that's exactly what just happened. Canada's Energy Minister, Tim Hodgson, stood on an international stage and said, with a straight face, by the way, and we're going to talk about this, that we're going to send more natural gas to the United States so that they can export it to the world and they can power their exploding network of AI data centers. And somehow we're supposed to believe that that's a win for Canada. But there are other problems with this. And here's the uncomfortable reality. We're not leading anything here. We don't even have the capacity to do anything remotely related to Timbo's ramblings. We're not exporting our own energy to the world at scale as it stands. We are feeding another country's dominance if we do this, while telling Canadians we're at the forefront of the future. We're an AI powerhouse. But that right there, that gap between what they say and what's actually happening is now, as we said this morning, becoming a defining pattern of this government. Because once you see it here, you start seeing it everywhere. We saw it this morning. We're seeing it now. Let's keep tapping into the truth.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Tap the Maple here on Bakes on Things. My name is Chris Baker. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps push the channel out to more people in the algorithm, and join the conversation down below. What the energy minister said would sound impressive at first. Canada can help power the AI revolution. Canada can support global energy needs. Canada can step up during a crisis. Holy cow, we can do a lot. That's a lot of stuff, Timbalina. That's great. Those are big statements, my friend. Confident statements, too, considering the knowledge you must have of our actual infrastructure. But these are liberal-type statements, and when you actually peel it back even just a little, the entire thing starts to collapse under its own weight. Because here's what they're really saying. Canada is going to send more natural gas to the United States, if it can, so that the United States can liquefy it, export it, and power its AI infrastructure. Not Canada's, even though we heard in the election we were also going to become an AI powerhouse. So instead, we're going to send that energy to the U.S., which again, you're welcome, guys. We love you guys. But that distinction is everything here, because liquefied natural gas, LNG, is where the real money is. And that's where the global influence is. That's where energy dominance is decided. But Canada? Well, we're not really leading that, are we? We're feeding it at best, and that's where we're running into a lot of trouble here. There's an illusion of leadership happening with the Liberal government. We've called it the Liberati for a lot of different reasons over the last 2 weeks. But let's slow this down and make it crystal clear for everyone who doesn't understand that's watching right now. Canada produces massive amounts of natural gas. We know that. That part is true. We have way more we could be producing. We already send billions of cubic feet per day to the United States. That's also true. But what happens next is where the story completely changes, and again, where you have a lack of leadership on the part of the Liberals. The United States takes that gas, they turn it into LNG, and then they ship it around the world. They collect the global profits from that, the strategic leverage, and the geopolitical influence that comes along with it. So when our government says something like, we're going to help power global demand, well, that's by doing it as a third party to the United States. I mean, what they actually clearly mean is we're supplying the raw material while someone else actually builds the empire to supply to the rest of the world. This is not any type of energy leadership. I don't think that makes you an energy superpower whatsoever. That is energy dependency. Just it's wearing a slightly different hat, perhaps sideways. I don't know. But the reality is, then you have this AI narrative they're trying to build. And let's talk about the AI angle, because this is where the messaging, it gets even more misleading. And we just talked about misleading messages this morning. You've probably heard it everywhere lately. AI is the future. And that is true. But what they don't emphasize enough is this. AI is not just a software race. It's a technological race. It's an energy race. It's massive data centers requiring enormous amounts of electricity, stable, reliable, always on power. And right now, natural gas is one of the fastest ways to meet that demand. So yes, energy-rich countries are in the prime position to benefit by being able to ship their energy out, but only if they actually build the infrastructure to deliver it to the world. And that is where we really fall apart, isn't it? Because while we talk about powering AI, we are not building the LNG export capacity to supply the world directly, are we? No, we are not fast-tracking infrastructure to meet that demand, despite the Major Projects Office designed specifically to do such a thing. We are not positioning ourselves as the global hub in any way whatsoever, other than what Timbo says in front of a camera. Instead, we are sending our resources south and letting the United States take the production from there and do all the distribution. So again, the message to Canadians here is clear. We're part of the AI future, but the reality is we're just going to help someone else do it. That's what we're really going to do. We're going to help someone else own the AI future. That's not what you said in the election campaign. That's not what you've said since, but apparently that's the reality of the situation, and reality just doesn't seem to match up with any of your promises now, Mark. This is the part they aren't going to say out loud because it destroys their whole narrative. But Canada does not have the infrastructure to do what Timbo is applying here. Not at scale, not competitively, not even quickly. We've spent years and years fighting over pipelines in general, delaying approvals in general, and canceling projects that could have helped us achieve what Tim is talking about. Layering regulations on top of regulations that get in the way. And now here we are. We're turning what should be a strategic advantage into a bureaucratic obstacle course. It's ridiculous. And now, in the middle of a global energy crunch, the solution is definitely not let's build here. It is instead let's ship it to the US and let them handle it. That's not strategy, folks. That's surrendering opportunity at best. There's no strategy in that. We're just trying to use what we have, and thank goodness we do at least that, but we haven't opened up any doorways to make it better. And this is where this episode really matters, because we're not just talking about these failures. This isn't just about the energy crisis itself. This is about the pattern we are seeing. We touched on it this morning. We're digging in even further here. A pattern of messaging that sounds strong in front of cameras, but once you put it under any kind of scrutiny, any kind of stress, it collapses. We've seen it with job numbers. We've seen it with these energy exports. We've seen it with international negotiations, just talking this morning about the words Mark Carney used about human rights in China. We've seen it with promises that shift the moment reality catches up to it. The script is always the same, isn't it? Make a bold claim to CBC, CTV News reporters, frame it as leadership, let them frame you in a certain way that makes it look like you're leading the way, and hope no one looks too closely at the actual details. It's why we've never actually been able to read an MOU. But Canadians are starting to ask, where are these MOUs? Why can't I read one? And when they want to see it, and when they do ask, they're also realizing something very important. There's a big difference between being part of something and being in control of it. Right now, Canada is not in control of this opportunity. The MOUs mean nothing than the paper than they're written on. They're not legal documents. We are on the sidelines, pretending that we're on the field. And this is what the problem is. As long as we pretend we're playing the game and don't actually play the game, we'll never have any stats. And here's why this matters beyond just politics. Because the world is changing very quickly around us, faster than Mark Carney could have ever predicted, even in his Davos speech. Energy demand is rising, AI demand is exploding, countries are scrambling to secure long-term supply, Germany is locking in deals, and let's face it, the United States is expanding its own capacity, our neighbor to the south, who we won't even negotiate with right now. Other nations are moving quickly too, aggressively, to secure their position. But Canada? Well, we're having conversations, guys. We're signing MOUs. That mean nothing, but we're signing them. We're in discussions. We're exploring options. We've come to an understanding. Enough. Sending our resources somewhere else to be monetized is proof that whatever it is you're discussing is is hogwash. And when does potential become wasted opportunity? When does that become wasted opportunity at this point? I feel like it's probably right now. We've probably wasted an opportunity to be working over the last year at building some of this infrastructure. And here's the truth, and it might not be comfortable, but it's certainly necessary. Canada is not being held back by a lack of resources. We know we have them all in the ground. We won't dig for them, but we've got them there. We are being held back by a lack of execution by this Liberal government, something that's lasted for 11 years. We have everything we need to lead in energy. We can be the superpower they nickname us, everything we need to benefit from the AI boom, everything we need to strengthen our economy and our global position. But instead of building toward that future, we talk about it. We make grand announcements. We make sure the CBC and the CTV are looking, and then we outsource it. And then telling Canadians we're leading it at the same time doesn't make any sense. That disconnect between messaging and reality is what's eroding all of the trust in this country. Because people can feel it. Every single day they can feel it. They can see it in their cost of living. They can see it in missed opportunities for this country that continue to seemingly be announced in other countries when we could have done the same thing. They can see it in announcements that sound big in our country but deliver nothing in the end. Look at the portable housing and the housing plan that went to Nunavut, never to be seen again. So the next time you hear a politician say, Canada is powering its future, look for the evidence, please. Please ask one simple question. Who's actually benefiting from that power? Where does that power actually exist? What are we doing to use that power? And can you show me? Because if we're sending ourselves resources somewhere else, or sending our own resources somewhere else, if we're letting another country build the infrastructure, if we're watching others capture the opportunity, then we're not powering the future ourselves. We're giving away our future to someone else to sell. We're fueling someone else's growth. And Canadians deserve far, far better than that, especially after what we've been through over the last 11 years. First, we deserve honesty. We haven't seen that in a long time. We deserve clarity on what's going on and how we can truly get these projects done. And most importantly, we deserve leadership that builds here, not just talks about it. Because at the end of the day, the talk is cheap. This isn't about the natural gas that's in the ground. It's about accessing it. This isn't about AI. It's about building AI. It's about whether Canada is going to lead or keep telling itself it already is and keep lying to itself and its citizens via Mark Carney and the Liberal government. That's how you tap into the truth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, join the conversation down below. Are you seeing this meltdown Canada-wide? Are you seeing all the petals fall off of this flower as every time Mark Carney makes an announcement or one of his minions like Tim Hodgson does, it goes into the abyss, into the fog, as Stephen King would say, and never to be seen again? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it down below. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time for your Thursday morning edition of Tap the Maple. Have a great Wednesday evening.